Sonny Hostin, you want to know what's wrong with the American people, but I want to know what is wrong with you. First, you call black men who supported Donald Trump ridiculous. Then you call white women who voted for Donald Trump uneducated. Then when Bernie Sanders made a statement that I agree with, that the Democratic Party turned their backs on the working people, so thereby the working people turned their backs on the Democratic Party, you said you don't agree with that. You said, and I quote, "What is wrong with America?" So because 71 million Americans didn't buy your nonsense that you have been selling out of your mouth day after day, you think something is wrong with 71 million Americans. I hate to break this to you, but there is nothing wrong with 71 million Americans. There is something wrong with you. 71 million Americans chose the candidate that they want to choose. But you are so educated, why don't you use your law degree to figure out nonsense that you have been selling out of your mouth does not matter to the American people? Because being a threat to democracy, like all of you have been saying, even though that you don't even buy the mess that you're saying, you've been trying to sell that mess to the American people. That threat to democracy argument is garbage, and you know it. People in this country, because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who can't make ends meet, who can't feed their families, can't pay their bills, and you have the nerve to come out of your mouth on national TV, first insulting people, and then to say, what's wrong with them? I want to know what's wrong with you. You're the one with the education, right? You're the one who chose to back a candidate who couldn't string 4 sentences together, who went on network after network after network and embarrassed herself, who went and sat down with you, remember that? And how you asked her, would she have done anything different than Joe Biden? And she looked at you and said, there is nothing that comes to mind that I would have done than Joe Biden. Let me help you out. We all know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have destroyed America. They have destroyed the economy. They have allowed illegal aliens to come in this country and put them before American citizens. American citizens know that, whether they have master's degrees or whether they have a high school education. Everybody with common sense knows that. But you hate Donald Trump so much, you were willing to vote for somebody who looked like they had no brain instead of voting for somebody who had the answer to the problems that Americans were facing. So I repeat, Sonny Hostin, you want to know what's wrong with 71 million Americans? I want to know what is wrong with you. And I also think that the next time you decide to fire off insults at the American people, you need to keep your big, fat mouth shut.
All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and I definitely had to bring y'all this because it seemed like The View cannot handle President Trump being back in office. They still been slandering him, still telling lies. The reason why lawsuits and stuff keep coming up, the reason why we're hearing it's a chance that President Trump might shut that show down, which I think he should, because all they do is just tell lies. They attack everybody that's around President Trump. They done said stuff about Pete Hegseth. Of course, they say something about Donald Trump all the time. Joy Behar wishing death on him. Sonny Hostin running her mouth about President Trump, but yet her husband is the one getting sued $500,000. She need to be worried about that, but yet she on the show still running her mouth. So we're going to go ahead and check this out by the Office of Tatum. Y'all please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. That way y'all can stay up to date with everything that's going on. And without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and dive straight into this.
Yesterday. Did something happen? Did something happen yesterday? Yes, it was Martin Luther King Day. Yes. That's a good one.
Keep crying.
Well, in addition to Martin Luther King Day, a certain person, Donald Trump, was sworn back into the White House as the 47th president. Now, high-profile Democrats were in attendance along with Republican officials who all sat behind big tech oligarchs with the best seats in the House. Yeah. Trump gave a preview of what we're in for the next 4 years. Take a look.
My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day. We will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be.
So if he's sending all the criminals away, where is he going? And what better way to unify the country than by ripping families apart and punishing anyone who doesn't fall in line?
Ripping families apart.
I watched the whole thing.
If Joe Behar, if you want to talk about he's ripping families apart, what you think these illegal aliens was doing to innocent people's kids? What you think they did to like the Lake and Rileys and stuff like that? Don't you think they ripped like her family apart? So I mean, it just don't make any sense. I told you they just got to say something. They hate Donald Trump so much that they'll just literally sit up here and just run their mouth and just say stupid stuff, ripping their families apart. But look at what these illegal aliens been doing since they've been in here. Look at the Venezuela's gang. Look what they doing. It just don't make any sense at all.
Because I have a certain masochistic streak in me.
You do.
What about the rest of you?
Yeah, I watched it. Just the speech part. A lot of the revelry, it was hard because this is not someone I voted for, so I did not feel like sitting around and watching it. But the speech itself, I remember when it was done, my first reaction was, you know, what is this country he speaks of? Because I immediately couldn't reconcile the way I see the country and the people and how it is right now and where he saw it. He didn't say carnage, but he said carnage pretty much in everything else. You remember the reference from his first inauguration when he said carnage. I just kind of felt this dark feeling. And then he had this kind of martyr-like, you guys are downtrodden and almost irreparable. You can't save this place, but I can. And like, it had this like godlike complex without any Jesus qualities. Like it was kind of like a juxtaposition. But I was really disappointed, not surprised, just to be clear, but disappointed that there wasn't one kind thing to say about the outgoing administration. Because even
contraire, he was merciless to the outgoing.
That's my point. That's my point.
You said he ain't say one. Hold on now. You said he didn't say one kind thing about them? So you telling me that President Trump should have said something kind about an organization is one of the reasons why he almost lost his life twice. And then they wouldn't even give him security. They wouldn't even give him security for his rallies. There's some rallies he had to do indoors. You talking about the same organization when Joe Biden was talking about we need to lock him up. You got Kamala Harris going around talking about he's Hitler. And he's supposed to say something kind to them on their way out? Are you serious? These people are freaking delusional. What the world is he gonna say something kind to them for? And they want it, and if you really look at it, they wanted him dead. They wanted him to die. Why you think on the last week Kamala Harris kept saying he's Hitler, he's Hitler? It's like come on, man. This is crazy. Listen to this crap this woman just said.
I was really disappointed, not surprised, just to be clear, but disappointed that there wasn't one kind thing to say about the outgoing administration. Because even
contraire, he was merciless to the outgoing.
That's my point.
They were merciless to him.
Even if you find it really hard, there could have been. They spent the morning together. They had a welcome tea. President Biden and Vice President Harris did everything we all criticized Donald Trump throughout the door. They did all the traditions of handing off the baton, and he couldn't even muster up one small thing to say thank you for kindly welcoming us back or something. It was a kind of a gut punch of sorts.
Well, that's not who he is, right? He's not a statesman.
Hold on, I want to pause. I want to talk before she talks. First and foremost, these people are so delusional, and I say that every time, and it never seems to shock me at the things that they say. Donald Trump, I watched the speech. Donald Trump was incredibly inspiring. Donald Trump is literally not just saying some random stuff. He's saying what the people are feeling. That's why they voted for him. That's why the man won overwhelmingly. That's why he won the popular vote as well as all the swing states. He dominated an election. Why? Because people do see the country as it's on the decline. Crime is out of control. Our government is a mess. You just had the president, he sleep behind the wheel for, I don't know, his whole administration. Then he just pardoned all these people. It's like, it is a mess. And they called him Hitler every single campaign trail stop. And then all of a sudden he's supposed to say something positive about them leaving office.
And that's exactly what I just said. That's exactly what I just said. You want him to say something nice. And how many times was Kamala Harris at her rally talking about he's Hitler? He's a threat to democracy. You got Joe Biden saying we got to put him in a bullseye. What about all of that? So Donald Trump's supposed to forget what all they said and just start saying some kind stuff about them? You can tell Kamala Harris didn't even want to be there. Look how she was looking at him. That organization didn't care anything about Donald. And think about it. Joe Biden and Kamala, they right there was the same organization that was trying to get President Trump locked up. They was trying to lock him up. What is he going to say something nice to them for? He ain't got no reason to say anything nice to them. They tried to lock that man up forever. If he would have lost, Joe Biden was going to put him in prison. Thank God that he won. They was going to lock him up, and they tried locking him up. Where you think the Fannie Willis came from? Letitia James, Jack Smith, all of that stuff was due from the Biden administration. They tried to lock him up. They tried to put him in prison. And he's supposed to say something nice to them? Man, forget them. I wanted to say something else, but I'm not going to do it. I mean, see, that's why they need somebody on their show to challenge them. That would have been my first thing that I would have said. I would have looked at her and said, why would he say something to somebody that tried to lock him up? They tried to throw him in prison. They called him Hitler. Joe Biden said, we got to put him in the bullseye. It's like, get out of here with that stuff.
They had nothing positive to say about him. They had an opportunity to say all these things about Trump. They called him all kind of names. They said all these years of them bashing him, he had an opportunity to say the truth. And I think he held back on a lot of stuff.
He
now,
did.
Let's listen to Sonny Hostin finish what she got to say. Roll the clip.
Who he is. And I decided to protect my peace and celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day yesterday. So I did not watch the inauguration. My sorority sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated had a service day in Harlem yesterday, and I enjoyed that. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and watched Notre Dame. Unfortunately, not be victorious, but I went with a bunch of my law school buddies, and we ate wings and thank you to.
Ain't it funny that they talking about they hate Donald Trump so much that they always say, I ain't watch him do this, I ain't watch him do that. But they got a show about him every day talking about what he did. That just go to show you how fake these people is and how liars they are. They always say, I don't watch Donald Trump. Y'all making money off Donald Trump. Y'all talk about him every single day. Quit lying. You didn't go to no Buffalo Wild Wings. You stayed at home and you watched the inauguration. That's exactly what you did. You watched it. You just don't want to say you did. You trying to say you went here and you went there. If that was the case, why you show up to work to talk about Donald Trump then if you didn't watch it? You should have told the producer, hey, I didn't watch the inauguration. I went and ate Buffalo Wild Wings. No, you showed up to work because you knew you watched the inauguration, and that's why you finna go ahead and run your mouth about it.
Tony, who's the manager there, for making me feel good. But the one thing that I did think about was the hypocrisy of having a man be inaugurated to be president on the same day as we commemorate MLK. And that same man saying that he was going to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
The irony of it.
The irony of it, because Martin Luther King not only wanted racial equality, he wanted economic equality. And that is something that people tend to miss. And I want to remind people that he said that Black Americans deserved reparations for the injustices they faced. He argued that reparations were a form of justice, in fact, not charity. And he said, quote, it's all right to tell a man to lift himself by his own bootstraps, but it's cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
Sonny Hostin, what about your parents being slaveholders? What about your parents being slaveholders, Sonny Hostin? You never want to talk about what you got going on. You always want to attack Donald Trump, but you try to leave out everything you got going on. What about your husband just got hit with insurance fraud? That's the reason why y'all got that big house that y'all living in. Won't you talk about your husband in the way that you might be trying to beg Donald Trump to get him out of trouble? You gonna ask Donald Trump to pardon your husband? It just don't make any sense at all. She sit up here running her mouth like she ain't got problems going on. Calling Donald Trump a convicted felon. It seemed like your husband finna be a convicted felon. It seemed like you finna be living with one.
And so in thinking about that, and Donald Trump saying things that this country would be a meritocracy, you're talking about a man who didn't become the president of the United States because of merit. He had no political experience whatsoever. He had no business experience. He was given everything that he has. He is
given everything.
Hire. He is, if anything,
what?
a DEI hire.
I can't time out. Stop.
How the world was he get? What you mean he was given everything? What? So somebody just gave Donald Trump $1 billion. He didn't earn it. They just gave it to him. What world are you in? This is ridiculous.
Stop, bro. I can't. Lord Jesus. She's. This is so nutty. I don't know how to get on TV and say this. Donald Trump is a legacy hire. No. You're not gonna say Bush is, which his family, legitimately, not legitimately, his family was literally running a dynasty. Not the Clintons. You know, not Obama. Not the Clintons who was a part of Obama's administration, or the Clinton who was Hillary Clinton, who was Bill Clinton's wife. All these people work together. Cheney and all these people, they all have been in government forever. They are the legacy hires. Donald Trump didn't have no business experience. Like, you can't, like, that's why you can't trust these. I don't know how people listen to The View. Like, when people say stupid stuff like that, you got to say, okay, you're clearly not acting in good faith. You're clearly not making any sense. You don't have a legitimate claim.
Nope.
You're clearly a nut job. Saying the man don't have any business experience. The man don't have any experience whatsoever being a president. But he did an incredible job with no experience. That's why we hired him again. Don't forget that we hired him again. Don't care what you think, how you feel, what you want to say.
Yep.
We decided to pull the lever for Donald Trump one more again. After they had impeached him twice, after they called him Hitler, after they tried to ruin his reputation, after they convicted him here and tried to bankrupt him here and tried to take his life and then tried to give him the life back just to take it again. Like, after all of that, the people, with the media still lying, with politicians paying tens of millions of dollars for celebrities to come out and lie and advocate for a candidate that nobody really should have wanted. After he did all of this, you say the man don't have experience. This is one thing I teach my son and anybody I mentor, young men. Don't ever be delusional about where you are really at. Because if you're delusional and tell yourself a lie, you can never get better. If you're running around thinking your stuff don't stink, and so you acting like that, even though your stuff stinks, you will never make it in life. I often tell my son this, man, ain't no pipe down, bro. Don't ever get into a situation where you think you're better than what you really are. It's okay to believe in yourself. It's okay to believe in success. It's okay to believe that one day I will get there if I work hard.
Yep.
But don't get it twisted. If you ain't there, it don't benefit you by thinking you're there because you don't work as hard. You know, all of the things that go along with being delusional. And I think these Democrats are overarchingly, they're overrepresented in delusion. I mean, look up delusion in the Bible, and not in the Bible, but in the dictionary, you'll see their faces, delusion. I love watching them though, because it's fodder, right? It's entertainment for me to see them melt down and be silly. But it's just the audacity. The problem that I have is that people actually listen to them and they believe them. And they're easily debunkable. To say Donald Trump didn't have no business experience is insane. To act like his dad, everything was given to him. His dad had been dead and gone for a long time. Donald Trump turned a couple million into $1 billion. Some people can't turn a couple hundred to 1,000. And then
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Sonny hosting them is she just running her mouth. They just say anything to try to make it sound good to get that dumb crowd to clap at every freaking thing.
Same people that's sitting on a network that they didn't create, and probably because of diversity, inclusion, delusion, that they were able to get the job, but they don't do any work. They just sit up there and read a teleprompter and give a fake opinion about stuff, and then they make a whole bunch of money. And this man can build something from nothing. Somebody just gave him money. Elon Musk was somewhat of a trust fund type person. I think he had a lot of backing, but you don't turn that into being the richest man in the world by just sitting on your hands. When somebody gives you money with inflation and all of that, technically you should lose money over time if it was just given to you. If you inherited something, it technically should just go status quo or go downhill if you didn't add no value to it. But the reality is that if you add value to something that's been given to you and you 10x the company, it's more about you and less about what somebody gave you.
Yeah.
And every single person that I know that is existing today, especially these people on the news talking about this, they were offered an opportunity from somebody else. Somebody called Sonny Hostin, probably drunk or high, and said, we would like to have you as a guest on The View, as a guest host on The View. Somebody gave her an opportunity. Now, what are you doing with the opportunity that's been given to you is the difference maker.
Yep.
Some people get on there and get sued, like she has done, I don't know how many times, probably getting the program sued by lying, having to read all these legal notes.
Yep.
Some people get an opportunity that's been given to them and they squander it. Opportunities are not just monetary. Opportunities are given in a position to succeed. And you could turn a position as a wealth manager, entry level, to starting your own wealth company, wealth management company, and you go from making a couple $100,000, maybe $1 million, to making $1 billion. I mean, opportunities are just as important as financial opportunities. Somebody give you money, you don't flip the money right, you bankrupt. Somebody give you an opportunity, you don't take advantage of the opportunity you've been given, you end up being unemployed again. And that's the truest thing I can tell y'all. But these people are just some of the dumbest people on earth. And I love embarrassing them. And I'm hoping that people that watch this show will in turn, who like The View or may listen to The View or got family members who listen to The View, may say, you need to listen to this guy B. Tatum, because
yeah, he be telling the truth. Salute to Officer Tatum. Make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. And let them know that Adogg sent you. I definitely had to bring y'all this. I'm like, they just say some of the stupidest stuff in the world. He don't know what he's doing. So you pretty much just crapping on all the people that voted for Donald Trump. So you think everybody's supposed to listen to you? Everybody's supposed to listen to y'all. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I'm going to continue to expose them. I love exposing them. I don't like to let them just sit around and say all of this crap and nobody challenges it. So that's the reason why I like to come out and say, you know what? I do it. I challenge them on their crap. So like I said, thank you all for watching. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments section, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.